clearly, this student has not been getting enough sleep. Why? Because high school starts too early in the morning. If only entire schools could just take a late slip. Most schools begin around 8 to 9 a.m. However, there are oftentimes many extracurriculars before high school starts, especially sport team practices. Starting as early as 7 a.m., students are forced to wake up ridiculously early to get to school in time, often with dire consequences.
Sometimes when I get up in the morning, especially when I've had wrestling practice, so I have to get up at 6 to get to school on time, I do a lot of exercise, so I'm really tired and I essentially sleep through my first 3 periods of class, which means that I don't really accomplish anything. And I'm actually behind in those classes now that I think about it. There's probably some correlation there.
Sleeping in class is obviously very detrimental to learning, but when teenage students wake up around 6 in the morning, it's hard to avoid. Some students even avoid all morning extracurriculars because they don't think it's worth waking up that early for. Just waking up to get to school on time for some students is enough to make them unable to stay awake fully during their classes.
I have to come to school at regular 8:39. I have to be in class. That's my French class. In my French class, I tend to be half asleep, and that's only okay because I'm really good at French. But other than that, I'd probably be doing not so well in French. Me personally, I actually don't join a lot of teams that I could because I just don't want to wake up in the morning for those practices. The practices they start at around 7:30. That's way too early for me. If it starts at 7:30, I have to wake up at least 6, an hour before I usually do. I really don't think it's worth the bother of waking up that early.
So having school start so early is clearly having a negative impact on students' marks. Many recent studies have shown that starting school even half an hour later in the day results in numerous remarkable changes. Students were getting more sleep, which benefited their overall physical and mental health. Students were getting better grades, less students were showing up late to class, and more students were actually showing up to class at all, and many more benefits. So starting school earlier clearly has a positive effect for students. What about teachers? It turns out it's not only teenage students who are chronically sleep deprived, but most adults as well.
Considering this profession does have a lot of holidays, I think people may not be thinking that we need a later start in the day, but it has an impact on wellness and it has an impact on alertness. I know as myself as a teacher, I'm often getting to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock. It means my hours of sleep are often between 4 and 6 hours. 6 would be pushing it. And I know how it impacts me. It impacts me in that I get sicker faster, I get sicker for longer. I'm also, because I multitask a lot in this profession we do, it just means we're not on the ball as well.
When teachers have gotten more sleep, they can teach better and are less likely to feel moody when marking, allowing for a better learning experience for students. Now, what about the general public? Well, if school started later, there would be less traffic during peak rush hour times. With less traffic on the roads, others could get to work quicker and spend less time stuck in traffic. Another recent study has shown that the percentage of teenage drivers getting into car accidents is directly linked to how early school starts in 2 different cities. With students who drive to school being more alert and driving on less crowded streets, both the public and student drivers would be in a better, safer situation. Very slowly, school districts around the world are coming to realize the need to start school later in the day. Although there are many external effects to be considered, the benefits reaped by the students, along with the benefits teachers and the general community public would receive, are very real and are very appealing. Don't forget, the students of today will be the leaders of tomorrow, so such large benefits for students definitely outweighs any slight disadvantages to the few who might be slightly inconvenienced by such a change. By becoming an advocate for pushing back the start of school in the mornings, you can help high schools in your community make these changes sooner for the betterment of the community. Now, with all this good, can you really say being late is all that bad?